This is the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast, episode 52.
Welcome to the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast with Ken Countess. Ken is an internationally recognized marketing expert. This podcast will give you tips on how to market your business more effectively than ever before to help you make more money, whether you're just starting out or have been in business for years. And now, here's Ken Countess.
Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast. I'm Ken Countess. This is a really special episode for us. It's number 52. We have created, published, and distributed 52 episodes, one every week. So it's our birthday. Happy birthday to the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast. You know, every week for the last year, we've been talking about marketing subjects, ways to help you grow your business. And I know that oftentimes we'll cover the same type of subject a few times over the course of several weeks. We may talk about email or search engine optimization or whatever. But every time we do it, it's kind of a slightly different angle. We've had some really amazing guests over the last year. If you're new to the podcast, go back and check. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher. We have many of them published on YouTube. You may be watching on YouTube right now. And we probably have 10 or 15 of the most recent podcast episodes on YouTube. But all of them you can find on our website and on the other channels, as I mentioned, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Podbean, and so on. So go back and listen. Each one of them is titled, so you have a pretty good idea of what's in each of the episodes. And each of them runs about 15 to 20 minutes or so. So they're easily digestible. If you're listening in the car, it's during the course of a commute. And by the way, I'm always looking for suggestions on what we can do to make the next episodes better, more relevant. You know, things change in marketing all the time. And if you're a marketer or a would-be marketer, or you simply don't have the time to do any marketing, well, that's the purpose of this podcast, is to give you a couple of extra ideas, very valuable ideas, things that can generate revenue for you, generate leads, get more people involved with your business or your company. So we welcome your feedback and look forward to hearing from you all the time. So as we celebrate our first birthday together, and again, thank you for being here. This time around, I'm going to talk about something that I presented at a workshop I did just yesterday. This is being recorded and will be published actually at the end of September of 2018. And yesterday, September 27th, as it turns out, I presented this topic to a group at the Small Business Development Center in Kissimmee, Florida. And it was based on the 4 pillars of marketing. And for those of you who follow me on a regular basis and you know all of the work I do with Constant Contact, you may recognize some of this material that you're about to see as part of one of the classes that I taught over the last several years. And I'm always refreshing the classes, by the way. So if there's a class or a workshop or a webinar that you've attended in the past, this may have the same title as something you've already attended, but it will always have fresh new material. So this time around, this is from a class that I taught called the Build Your Marketing Toolkit class, and it focuses in part on the 4 pillars of marketing. So during this podcast, I'm going to cover them very briefly and go over them in more detail, perhaps in future podcasts. So if you're ready, let's go. You know, marketing isn't just about advertisements or emails that you send. It's more than just one concept. There's really an entire continuum of ideas and activities to focus on. And that's what I'll be referring to when I talk about the 4 pillars of marketing. The first pillar of marketing success is getting found and discoverability. And I want you to think about how these will loosely follow the steps that a business or a nonprofit has to go through as you market to your audience. And the 4 primary pillars of marketing look like this: getting found and discoverability, engaging and nurturing relationships, putting out some campaigns that drive action, not just marketing for marketing's sake, but campaigns that actually do drive action. And the 4th pillar is about analytics and making decisions based on the data that you've received from the marketing campaigns that you've done. So now let me just take a minute and talk about getting found and discoverability. That's the pillar that we'll talk about during this episode. We'll talk about some of the other pillars in future episodes. So in terms of getting found and discoverability, the very first one is mobile campaigns. What do I mean by mobile campaigns? Well, very simply, it's that we are all using our mobile phones more and more and more. In fact, we seem to be addicted to them, aren't we? All the marketing you do today should be focused on a mobile audience. This is very different than it was just a few years ago. Now we have our phones with us all the time. There are some studies that say that we have our smartphones within arm's reach 22 hours of the day. You'll see in just a minute what that translates to in terms of how you should be presenting because of the amount of time people spend on their phones. But the reality is that if the marketing campaigns you're doing are not mobile responsive, the odds are pretty good you're going to miss out on an opportunity. And when I say mobile responsive, I'm talking about making sure that your website is something that will appear well on a very small screen. I'm talking about your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter campaigns. I'm talking about email marketing. The good thing is that today, emails that you create on virtually any service are mobile responsive, meaning that when you send them out, they will automatically reformat themselves to look well on a desktop device, a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, and so on. So always think mobile. Next, search and search engine optimization. We are increasingly using our smartphones to search when we're on the go or even when we're in our office. And so it's very, very important that all of the marketing activity that you do is responsive to someone's search request. Many of us will now pick up our phone and say something like, "Hey Google, tell me where the nearest restaurant is," or "Hey Siri," or "Hey Alexa," or whatever the mobile device or the artificially intelligent devices are that you're using. So be thinking about updating your marketing collateral, and in this case, specifically your website, to make sure that when someone is doing a search, and more often now in plain language, because once again, we're talking to our devices to have them help us find what we're looking for. So take a look at how well your site, your campaigns are responsive to someone searching on the go. Which takes me to SEO. Search engine optimization is continually evolving. And while verbal search isn't quite at the level of typing out the search, you have to be thinking about the fact that people are now searching in plain language more than before. They aren't just simply typing in a couple of words and hoping for a good result. As we do more verbal search, that's going to change the search engine optimization parameters, meaning that when the search engines, Google, Bing, even YouTube for that matter. When they hear what you're searching for, you want them to deliver the result, and you want them actually to deliver a result that includes your business in that result. So be sure to focus on search engine optimization and how things have changed so quickly in just the last few years. Let me move on to social. Social media is something that, as you know, if you follow this podcast, it's a very important part of your marketing efforts. Social media in and of itself isn't driving sales as much as people would hope. Oh yeah, absolutely. You'll get people who put out a Facebook company page, a LinkedIn page, they'll put stuff out on YouTube. But by and large, people are not yet buying as frequently on social media as they are with email or directly on a website. So you want to be sure that your social activity is captivating enough to drive people to your website, or that your email marketing campaigns do have a social element connected to it. Social media is something we all know. Some of us have grown to love to hate it or hate to love it. But the fact is that 2 billion people are on Facebook. Closing in on 1 billion are on Instagram. 500 million are on LinkedIn, and so on. So because that's where your audience is spending an increasing amount of time, it's important that you incorporate social media in your marketing campaigns. And let me add this footnote. I'll get people who say, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not going to use it. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going to use that. Well, that's all good and that's smart. However, you have to be thinking about where your audience is. And so while you may not be a Facebook aficionado, your customers may be. So it's important that you have a presence on all of the channels where your audience may be. And if you need help with that, let me know. We can help you. We've got some really good, cool, easy to use solutions using some automation in some cases to help you establish your presence on those channels that you don't typically hang out on. And lastly, when it comes to getting found and discoverability as one of those 4 pillars of marketing, it's listings, particularly if you're a service type of business. Now, let's say you're a restaurant, maybe you're a landscaper, maybe, it can be any number of things. Make sure your business is listed on the listing sites. I'm talking about Yelp and Angie's List, and if you're a lawyer, there's Avvo and so on. Make sure people can find you there, and then encourage your customers who have had a great experience with you to post reviews. Think about how you do your shopping now. Many of us do a lot of our shopping on Amazon. Maybe you use eBay. Now, what's the first thing you do when you come across a product or a vendor? You look at their reviews. If it's someone who doesn't have good reviews, you're likely not to do business with them. So on the flip side, if you're a business that has a lot of customers, consumer, B2B, and so on, make sure you encourage your customers to leave reviews for you so that people can have the confidence in you when they land on your page, wherever that may be. Let them see what a great business you are, how you focus on your customer relationships, how you enjoy doing business with people. So that's the first of the 4 pillars of marketing. And I mentioned a few minutes ago that I wanted you to be thinking about how addicted people are to their mobile devices. Here's a study that was done not very long ago that shows that as mobile internet usage continues to grow, as we are more and more addicted to mobile technology, the average person is looking at their phone 150 times a day. The class that I was giving yesterday, I encouraged people to have their phones in front of them, and I chuckled to see how many times people were glancing down at their phones. They wanted to see that email that came in, or maybe they got a text message, or whatever it happened to be. The simple fact is that we're using our phones more and more and more. And by the way, talking about phones, you can sign up for our weekly email, get a few freebies along the way as well. If you text Marketing Coach to 22828. If you're watching on YouTube, you see it on screen. For those of you who are not using the video component of this podcast, go ahead and text Marketing Coach, all one word, to 22828. And the system will reply back asking you for an email address. And when you do that and submit it, I'll automatically, using marketing automation, send you an email that gives you access to several free resources, a case study on how to use Facebook marketing. You'll get a PDF of a presentation that I did recently and a few other goodies as well. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. I want to thank you for joining me today on the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast. Once again, this is being recorded at the end of September of 2018. Coming up in the next few weeks, we have a couple of great all-day workshops. One of them is on site and one of them is online. You can sign up to attend an all-day workshop that we'll be doing online. And so it runs from 9 to 4 Eastern time. You can join live, attend all or part of it. But as you do that, let's say you miss a portion of it, it'll also be available for you on a replay basis. So go to our website. It's the marketyourbusiness.co website or the countessgroup.com website. Go over to upcoming events and pull down the calendar, and you'll be able to see all of the upcoming events that we have. All right, so thanks for joining me, and I hope you join us again next time around as we start podcast year number 2 of the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast. Hey, that's it for this week's episode. Don't forget to check out our brand new Email Marketing Online Academy. It's www.marketyourbusiness.co/email-academy. That's where you'll find out more. Check out all of our episodes of the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast. It's on our website, marketyourbusiness.co. Look for the podcast tab, and there you'll find all previous episodes. And while you're on our website, don't forget to check out all the other resources and sign up for our weekly newsletter too.
Thanks for listening to the Market Your Business Like a Pro podcast with Ken Countess. Be sure to visit marketyourbusiness.co to access show notes, discover our fantastic content, and sign up for our mailing list. Have questions? Send Ken an email, ken@thecountessgroup.com, or Twitter @CountessGroup. See you next time.
If you need help with this or anything else related to marketing your business, reach out to us.